All right, welcome back, everybody, to Get Schooled. This really fun little interview series that I'm doing to help creatives on school, business owners, healers, start to pull out the gold nuggets and the gems that people like Tibor and myself have gone before you and fallen on our face and smashed the wall of success. And then we've extracted all the gold nuggets and we're going to give it to you on a silver platter today. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kick it right over to my brother Tibor. He is a leader of the Focus Creators, has over 300 people in his group, which is super cool. And his main focus is helping educational creators get their first paying clients and then scale. So from A all the way to Z. So Tibor, you've known you longer than I have. So tell us who you are and what you're about, brother.
Yeah, I am Tibor. I am 25 years old. I am a full-time creator since about 7 months. 7 months ago, I was balancing my online business with being a PE teacher. Welcome, Krista. Good to see you here. And yeah, um, I am a teacher by heart. Basically, I always liked helping people, whether that was like all the way when I was 6 years old. I was teaching how to play football or soccer to kids who were like 4 years old. When I was playing like video games, I used to teach my friends how to get better, how to improve. Um, and yeah, that is why I became a PE teacher as well, because I liked sports and I liked helping people. um, it wasn't quite what I liked because in school, these things, people just have to do things. And if you have to do something, then it becomes less fun. So it felt more just like me forcing them to do stuff that they don't want, even though it was very fun things to do, playing games, playing sports. But because it was forced, I just like nobody can force me to do something, and now I have to force other people to do something. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. Now I am still a teacher, but I'm basically helping people to solve the problems that I've solved for myself. So the two biggest problems that I've solved for myself was my ability to focus, and the ability to monetize and build my business. Because yeah, like when I first started, I was very distracted constantly. Maybe because of ADHD, ADD, I was always scattered in a lot of different direction, addicted to things like cheap dopamine, um, playing video games, smoking weed, all that kind of stuff. So I needed to let them go. Focus was used to be my biggest problem. I solved that for myself. After that, it was more into the business side. I didn't monetize for like 15 months. My first 15 months, I was like a beginner the whole entire time. And then about like 9 months ago, I managed to get my first paying client for $100. 7 months later, I managed to get my first 10K month. And now I'm like traveling the world, going to Barcelona, going to Brazil, living the life. Yeah, like being so blessed working with amazing people like Krista, like Melvin. Thank you guys for showing up. Because yeah, it just make this job so much more fun if you work with people who you actually like to work with. Um, so yeah, like that's about it for the quick
I
introduction.
I love that, man, and it's really a testament to show people, especially just starting out, because you said about 2 years has been your journey right now in entrepreneurship, and
Yes.
going from free work to like start monetizing, and all of a sudden things can change really quick if you have that archetype that you're embodied, if you have skills, if you have the grit to make it through the dip. And you being a teacher is really close to my heart. I remember I just had a conversation with one of my mentors last night, and I had this memory come up of me being about 9, 10 years old on the baseball field, And I remember my dad took me to the side and he said, "You're a natural leader." And I said, "What do you mean I'm a natural leader? I'm not the best hitter on the team. I don't pitch. What do you mean? I'm just the catcher. I just, do the thing." And he was like, "When kids need to run extra laps, you run with them even though you don't have to. When kids can't catch the ball, what do? You stay with them after practice and you teach them step by step how to catch the ball." And I didn't understand it when I was 9 years old. But what I'm seeing is people like you, people like me, people like Krista, Ankara, Melvin. We have these natural gifts that may not turn into much in the corporate world, or it may be really like a grind and a slugfest trying to move forward in the regular 9 to 5. But on the Skool platform with Get Schooled, right? On the Skool platform, we're like shining beacons of hope, and I really love this concept of focus, right? Because I'm a hypnotist. So where attention goes, energy flows. So I needed to learn how to shift focus really quickly. And when I started to do that for myself as well, to focus in really deeply, then everything started to shift in my life. Because I used to tell my ex, and then I'll kick it right back to you. Um, I said, if you give me a target, I'm like a rifle, sniper rifle, right? If I can focus, then I'll hit the target. I got energy for days. But without that focus, I feel more like a bomb. And it's like I have all this energy, and without focus, it just blows up on everything and nothing gets done. So I'd love to hear right off the rip, what are some of the things that have allowed you, as someone with ADHD, myself included, um, someone who has all these passions and gifts and talents and skills, to start to really focus on the things that matter and then really become consistent over time, which is focused over time? I'd love to hear how you did that so people can start to take steps in their business.
Mm, mm. Yeah, that's a great question. And first of all, it starts with clarity. It
Mm,
starts with clarity on the things that you want and on the things that you don't want. And based on that, like, because what is focus in essence? Like, you need a goal. Let's say, okay, so I will explain focus in this following analogy. You know, you are at one side of the street, and your goal is to get to the other side of the street. Now, when you're way there, like, there will be a lot of distractions. But if you just keep your focus, like, if you just think like, okay, I just have to get to the other side of the street, I will just stay really focused. No matter what, you will get there. But what starts to happen is, like, you will start walking, and you think, okay, I need to get to the other side of the street. And then basically there are your friends who are inviting you. Hey, look, there's this football match playing. It's like the grand final of the Champions League. And you're thinking like, nope, nope, I just need to reach the end of the street. Then you keep walking, and then you see this cute girl and this ally, and she said, hey, come this way. And you're like, nope, I need to reach the other side of the street. And if you are just removing distractions constantly, again and again and again, and you just keep your focus on achieving one goal, it will be unreasonable if you don't succeed it. Like, you will either succeed or you will die. Like, there is no other there is no other alternative if you just are really focused towards that goal. Um so I understood the power of focus by basically this. When I was starting my online, being like an educational creator, that was about like 2 years ago. I was balancing a lot of things. I was balancing my 9 to 5, working 4 days per week. I was balancing my online business, and I was balancing a very complicated personal life. Like, I had a lot of friends, I went to a lot of parties, I played a lot of video games, all that kind of stuff. But what started to happen is I didn't really see any progress in any of these things. And And then I was like, okay, like my main ambition is to work on my business, because this is how I can live like the most fulfilling life, if I can like decide what I want to do for work. Because my thinking was, I didn't like my job. And my thinking was, okay, like you are awake 16 hours per day. And if 8 hours per day you are like working, like that is half of your life. And if half of your life you're not doing the things that you want to be doing, then that sounds like a pretty bad life to me. So I said like, no, I don't want that. I need to get this thing running, like my online business, because that is where my passion was. So then I started to realize, okay, like I cannot balance all of these three things, and my 9 to 5, and my bad habits, and my online business, because I was seeing no growth. And it makes sense from a logical point of view, because business is still like a competition. And
Yeah.
like from a consumer's point of view, like who would you choose? Somebody who is way more experienced, way more skills, and puts all of their time and energy into one thing, into this thing, or somebody who isn't experienced, he doesn't really have a lot of skills, and he's not really spending much time to catch up with these people. Of course, they are choosing the one who is more experienced. And then I was thinking, okay, so if I um if I am behind, because when I started, I didn't have valuable skills I was able to monetize. I didn't have an offer. I didn't even have a good mindset. And then I was like, how can I ever win from these people,
Yeah.
who are spending so much time and energy on them? So I was like, okay, these bad habits, they need to go, because it logically doesn't make sense that if I spend less time and energy, that I will catch up with them when it comes to their skills, etc., etc. So first, I tried to let go of these, like sacrifice these bad habits like forever. I thought, okay, these things, partying, cheap dopamine, doom scrolling, eating sugar, Netflix, they are not helping me towards my goal. I just let them go completely. But what started to happen was I wasn't able to keep that agreement with myself, because when I was working hard for like 1.5 months and I was seeing no results, I was burning out because I was balancing those two different things. I was in a very bad state of mind. And so in my lowest moments, I always had a relapse. I always had a setback. I was, oh, okay, I'm just going to do these things again. But what starts to happen if you are breaking your own promises, your own agreements with yourself, then your confidence and self esteem gets lower and lower and lower and lower. On the other hand, if you keep yourself to your own promises, and you keep yourself to your own agreements, then your confidence gets higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. So I realized this and I thought, okay, I'm not going to make this agreement with myself that will let them go forever, because some part of me didn't want to let them go.
Yep.
So I needed to find another way. So then, like months later, I found the concept of monk mode. I first heard about it from Iman Gaji. It was like a specific time, like 30 days, for example. You don't do these things and you do these things. I thought, I can do that. So I did it many times. 30 days, I did it like 5 times. I did the even 60 days, even 90 days, and 100 days. But the same thing kept happening somewhere around halfway across of the monk mode. Even though I wasn't doing these bad habits anymore, I was thinking about them. Like my friends saying, "Hey, do you want to play this video game?" I was, "No, I'm not going to play this video game. But after this day, monk mode is over. Then we can play video games. Hey, do you want to go to this festival? No, but after monk mode is over, we can go to that festival." So even though I wasn't doing it, I was thinking about all of these bad habits. And you've said it perfectly, where attention goes, energy flows. So by me thinking about these bad habits, I was giving them energy. So the urges got bigger and bigger and bigger. My productivity was like nowhere to be found. And it was only a matter of time before I had like a setback. So when I did like the like first I did like 30 days, but then somebody says like it takes 30 days um to form like a habit, it takes 90 days to form a lifestyle. So I thought, okay, fine, then I will just do 90 days. But even after 90 days, I was right back to where I started. And that was basically when I quit for like 2 months.
Mhm.
And but what I've noticed by quitting from 2 months, my mental state was like very low. My health was nowhere to be found because I was sitting in a chair the whole entire day, like playing video games. My relationships got way worse because I was in a bad state of mind. I would rather like play video games because that was more stimulating than actually like meeting with my friends and family and stuff like that. So I was literally thinking, man, like if things keep going the way things are going, like I don't want to live this life anymore. Like this will be the end of my life. So I was then, and that pain, it helped me to make like the third agreement with myself. So the first one was basically like permanent sacrifice. Didn't work for me. The second was temporary sacrifice. The concept of monk mode also didn't work for me. Then I made an agreement. I said, you know what? I just need to sacrifice these bad habits until I've reached my goal. And that goal was 10K per month. So I didn't have to let them go forever. There wasn't a clear end date when I was able to do these things anymore. All I knew was that if I wanted to do these bad habits anymore, like I needed to achieve my goal, and to achieve my goal, I needed to take action. So instead of putting my focus on these bad habits, I started to focus on the actions. And then I gave basically energy to them. And then, like, when I was able to maintain that focus for a long enough time, because first I put like 100% focus on my business, but that isn't sustainable. So after like 30 days, I was like burning out. I was actually talking about Krista about this the other day because she is doing a lot with relationships. Um, by the way, she is amazing what she does. If you ever want to find something about like relationship, definitely go talk to her because she gave me some tips and that like helped me so much, like even like few minutes. Um, yes, but yeah, so I basically started to allocate some time towards my health and my relationships. It was about 80% business, 10% health, 10% relationships. But that allowed me to maintain this level of focus for a long enough time in order to do so. And yeah, it's like it is just that. It is just you just need to focus on your goal, achieving your goal. There will be many distractions, many shiny objects. Hey, look at this business model. Hey, maybe AI is something that you should go into. Hey, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? It is actually very difficult to just do one thing and say no to everything else. And like with that agreement that I've made with myself, the indefinite sacrifice, it went great. Consistency was effortless. Discipline was irrelevant because I didn't have to force myself to do these things anymore. Because if you're just focused, you don't need to force. And I was building a lot of momentum with my account on X. So yeah, that is basically how I created my first offer. My first offer was around focus. Um, and yeah, like, and also, I still had a lot of setbacks, even when I was focused, because the perfect focus doesn't exist. I'm still working to improve my focus every single day. Um, it is just like a process all over again, because even the most focused minds, they are not like focused.
Very much agreed. And if I could just give the hypnosis hypnotherapist perspective on that, everything that you just said was so good, and it was so on point. And even from this, you got to start with clarity. It's like if you don't know what you want, you don't know where you're going. If you don't know you want to cross the street, or if you don't know you want to go to New York to LA, you can't even start moving. You just walk in circles. So thank you very much for that. That was very, very good. And one of the things that you highlighted and articulated are the extremes. of the pendulum, right? So thank you for articulating that because there's so I've been there. Chris has probably been there. Anika, you've probably been on some extremes of the pendulum. Hi, Anika. We love you too, by the way. And this is good. If you guys are watching the replay, come to the lives because you might just get some plugs and shout outs because you're awesome. And people will go join your membership. Like Krista, the Chef Kiss, right? Go check her out. But what I want to share on that from a hypnosis perspective is the metaphor I like to use is the garden, right? So what you were doing was you went through a very big, long phase of pulling weeds and plowing the field, which everyone has to go through, especially at the beginning. All these weeds, all these habits, all these friends, all these thoughts, all these, weed, all the alcohol, all the party, all the game. The field's just full of weeds. Weeds aren't bad either. That's another thing that hangs people up. Weeds aren't bad. They are also just plants that we call weeds and call them bad. But the life needs weeds. Nature needs weeds, right? They're just easy to grow. And if you want to cultivate an avocado tree, or if you want to cultivate a certain kind of result in your life, well, you need to make space first. So what you did with monk mode was you created massive amounts of space. You said, I'm going to focus on the bad thing because I can't even plant the good thing yet because there's so much stuff here. There's rocks in the ground. There's beliefs in the ground. There's trauma in the ground. There's emotions in the ground. There's toxic relationship connections where they don't actually want to support my goal. They want to keep me stuck where I am because that makes them feel comfortable, whatever it is. And what you have to do is you have to become a warrior in that space. You have to be able to cut things off, but they don't stay off. And that's actually the process. So I'm really proud of you. I'm really happy to hear that this is your journey because I've gone through no FAP. I've gone through 30 days, 60 days, and
Mm.
you have a setback and they, oh, I'm a horrible person. Oh, I'm full of shame. I didn't do it. I broke my commitment. And you feel really bad about yourself. But the thing is that is the process. You're touching the shame, you're touching the guilt, you're touching inauthentic, you're touching out of integrity. And what happens is that's how you learn what you do want or what you don't want. And it's painful,
Mm.
right? So you're like,
Yes.
but it's also not sustainable. You can't be a warrior forever. You need R&R, you need rest and recovery. But the problem is most of us to rest and recover go back to the bad habits because that's how we feel comfort and relaxation. So what I found is if anyone's on this journey, you can totally go monk mode. It works. Just know it works for the time that you're doing it, and then you have to replace it with something. Otherwise, you fall back somewhere. So what I found, especially in business and mentorship, trying to become consistent, trying to become focused for the sake of focus and consistency is the wrong approach. What you have to do is you have to focus on the actions and you have to focus on the wins and the celebrations, the daily wins, daily celebrations. And really, what people are missing, they're not missing strategy. They're not missing. Everyone knows how to get six-pack abs. everyone knows. Everyone knows they should be eating better. Everyone knows they should. Listen to Alex Ramosi. If you're not talking to people for 4 hours a day, bro, do you even have a business? Right? It's like maybe you just suck and you need to do more. Everyone knows that, right? But what I found is when you can focus on what you started focusing on now, which is how do I win? Now you're no longer focusing on not eating the cheeseburger. Now you're focused on what's my favorite healthy dish. Hashtag chef's kiss. I'm a hypnotist, you guys. This is fun, right? I love playing this little word salad game. So when you focus on the healthy food, what happens is if you plant good plants in the garden of your unconscious mind, they will start to crowd out the weeds. Instead of pulling the weeds up all the time, oh, fuck, weeds, 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 weeds. No one likes to weed. It's not fun. But what happens is if you create an environment where weeds can't exist, you don't have to weed anymore, right? So what do? We need to have community. You got in school. You probably started hanging around some pretty cool people, right, Tibor? Yeah.
Yes.
And what happens is, and then I'll kick it back over to you. I like weeds. I love weeds too. Heck yeah. Um, uh, oh, that's weird. Oh, I just got a chat message. So what happens is I actually used to garden. And what you do is you plow the field one time, and you dig up the dirt, dig it up, dig, dig, dig. You make a nice little space. And what you do is you put a black mesh tarp over the dirt with holes in it. So weeds can't fall into the dirt. So you have holes where you put your actual plants, the tomatoes, the things, you space it out, you do it so they all have room to breathe. But you have this black mesh that eventually will decompose, but weeds can't get into the dirt, so they can't grow. And what I found is that black mesh is community. So if you can get around people like Tibor, right? He's got 300 people in his thing. I The reason why he's on this podcast is because I started going to his group. Then I saw him teaching the synthesizers. Like, he's a guy. He knows stuff. He's cool. Let's connect. And what's happening is when you have that basic human need for connection, community, shared reality, shared value, shared mission, shared purpose, it's no longer about you. Now, you probably don't have to work very hard to keep consistent because you have to show up for the people that you care about. And that's a higher order value and a higher order need, which just demolishes the bullshit stories. It's like, yeah, of course I want to go play video games today, but I have 4 calls and everyone's paying me $5,000. Like, no, I gotta help people, So I'd love to kick it over to you and hear your thoughts on that, and if any of that resonated with you, and then we can shift gears maybe into some Q&A because we got some cool people on the
Yes.
space.
So first of all, like I really like the reason that I've been able to grow like from without skills, without an offer, basically with not really much experience. Like when I was able to get my first paying clients back then, it was just for the focus and the productivity, basically. And basically, like 2 months later, I noticed because what started to happen was I didn't really get as much leads anymore. I reached out to my entire network that I built over the past year, and I got like managed to get like 4 or 5 clients from it, which was good, but that was like $100, $250, not too much. Then I wasn't getting any new leads anymore. But people in my network were asking me, hey, so how did you create an offer? How did you get the leads? How did you convert the leads? And I started helping people with that as well. And I noticed that the market for business was much larger than the one for productivity. So I naturally pivoted into that. But that is not really true that I pivoted. It's basically like a combination. Because like I am helping people get business results. I am helping people get clients. But I'm also secretly helping them with focus and productivity and like
Exactly.
building a good mindset. Because the reason why I've been able to grow from like my first client for $100 to 10K per month in like 7 months so quickly was because I've already was able to focus. And I truly believe that most people, they don't have business problems. They have personal problems reflecting on their business. And this is true for everything. Like things are holding you back, like limiting beliefs, not able to focus, fears. How do we overcome them? That is where most of the work is. So now basically, yeah, and but people don't want focus. Like that is not what they want, but that is what they need. But in business, you don't sell people what they need; you sell them what they want. This is the bacon wrapped broccoli principle. You sell the bacon, you give the broccoli. So I sell them the clients, and I'm getting them the clients. But how do I do that? By teaching them how to focus. Also. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's I think that part was good. Also, the part that you were mentioning about like replacing the things, because like if you are ambitious, then you have this part in your brain which is a goal achieving mechanism. And I mostly see this with guys, but you see this with girls as well. Like Krista's here, she is like, well, she is like doing this for her family, which I find very wholesome. But like a lot of guys, they have this goal achieving mechanism that is always on, and that was the case for me as well. And this goal achieving mechanism, I used to use this for like video games. And video games, they make it very, very easy to track the progress. Like you see your level, you see your rank, you, and every time you rank up, you level up, you get like this dopamine hit. It's like, oh, like this is so amazing. With business, you don't always see the progress. So if you are trying to balance both things, if you're trying to balance both video games and business, this brain achieving mechanism will have way more stimulation with the video game. So it naturally like pivots into that, and business will feel more like a chore. Business will feel more like, oh man, I have to do this. So like if you are quitting video games, don't just leave a void, because this goal achieving mechanism is still like it wants something. So what I did was I stopped that and I replaced it for business. So like filling in the void. Like, because just getting rid of the bad habits isn't enough if you're not replacing them with the good habits, because otherwise you will just do nothing. So I also like that. Um, and I also like the point that you said about, yes, clients, and I also want to add to that, mentors. As soon as I started having 1 to 2 clients and I have had a mentor, I was like, yeah, I don't feel like showing up, but like I must, because otherwise I will let these people down. I told my mentor I will become a great case study. Like
Uh-huh.
if I don't show up, I am not going to do that anymore. Same with the clients. That's like a responsibility. Um, so yeah.
I love that, man. Yeah, and bro, I just want to reflect back to you. You are a natural teacher and you're also a hypnotist, bro. Like I just want to reflect it back. I was like I had a question in my head but then it was so good. I was just in it and I'm like, "Oh wait, oh yeah, I'm doing an interview. Oops." Um so I love that. What I love to do is now let's open it up to anyone who wants to share a question. If you have questions, if not, it's totally fine. I can hold it. And Tibor, do you have 20 more minutes, or we 1 hour or
Yes.
90 minutes? Okay, 20
Yes.
more minutes. So we'll keep it tight today. Shameless plug while everyone's thinking about their question. Join Tibor's group. Okay, he's a mentor. He's a guy. Go hang out. Krista will approve. Do you have a question for us, Krista? No?
Nope, I'm questionless.
Questionless. All right. Anika, do you have any questions for us, my friend? You can just say no. Okay. Beautiful. So I have a question that I'll make up right now, Tibor. Um, good. This is what I'll do. So you said you need someone above, someone below, mentor, client, and now you're the donut hole, right? You're the donut hole where all the information, wisdom, and the experience is now passing through. And what I'd love to ask you, because this is something I found with my clients and myself personally, which is you can make goals based on uh, a lot of different things. And this is what I love to do because, as you said, we started with focus and we started with goal setting and clarity, and we'll wrap it all the way back around the donut hole, so it creates a continuum loop for us in our mind. If you're choosing goals based on what you think mom and dad want, it's not going to work. You might get there, you'll be miserable. If you choose goals based on your hungry ghost appetite inside of your ego structure, you can get there. Listen, I was an international dance instructor and I was sitting there in the VIP section. I had the barbecue, the beers, the teachers, the promoters, the DJs, on top of a freaking hotel looking over the ocean in LA. You know what I mean? Like it's like dope, but I'm sitting there off on my own, looking at the sunset and the stars coming out, like crying to myself at this party. It's like, oh well, I made it, but like I feel so alone. I lost all my friends. I lost all because you have to leave them behind if you want to rise to the top, you know? So, what I learned is that you have to build goals and you have to build business and you have to build relationships around values and core values, what you value, not what you think you should value. I should value health. Well, you know what? I don't. But what I do value is I value connection. I value love. I value service. So, how can I attach the things that I need for love, connection, and service to things like health, to things like business, to things like, the more externally focused goals, like business goals? So, I'd love to ask, and this will be good so people can join your group if they feel aligned with you. What do you feel your deepest values are when it comes to your mission and purpose in the world and your business and what you're doing for people? And I know it's a big question, so you can take a moment.
Hmm. Values. Um, I've did this exercise like once, like a pretty long time ago, but like if I kind of forget what my answers were.
Me too.
Um,
Uh,
so basically, I I value authenticity a lot,
mhm.
like a lot, because when I was back in primary school, like I never fit in. I never fit in. I didn't really fit into the group, and like you were talking about choosing, like you have to choose your own goals, not other people's goals. Like personally, I never had a problem with that because never in my life have I chose like somebody else's goal, basically.
Lucky, lucky.
So but it was always that way, like
Yeah.
people in like I'm 25% Hungarian. People in Hungary called me like akaratos, that is like strong-willed, like fighting for the things he want and fighting against the things he don't want. I was already like that as a kid. So like when the whole group was going like one side, I was like, I'm not really into that. I don't like to do it. So I would just go the other side. Um, I always connected better with outliers, kind of, but not really outliers, because I think people who fit in just for fitting in, they are not really authentic, they are not really themselves. But people who don't fit in, they are mostly people um who really are themselves. And that's like when I look at my clients, when I look at my friends, when I look at the people who I hang around with, they are all very, very, very authentic. So that is one thing. Another one is freedom.
Freedom. Hmm.
I like basically I don't do all of this for purely money. I just do this for the freedom. I want to work with the people who I want to work with. I want to do the things that I want to do because I think it's not really freedom, because total freedom it leads to chaos. More like autonomy, because I don't want to like spend my time like sitting on a beach and just do nothing with my life for the rest of my life. No, like I want to I want to make a big impact. I want to have like a big purpose. I still want to do something with my life, but I want to just choose the things that I want to do. So not really freedom, more like autonomy. A lot of people they don't really see like the difference. So I just call it freedom. Um
Can I just plug in there for a second because you
yes.
just like gave me the gold nugget, bro. That was that right there. Because if have you ever heard of nonviolent communication, NVC?
No.
It's a system. I was a relationship coach, so it's a system for conflict resolution. But one of the main factors of it is what are the needs underlying the conflict. And my biggest need in conflict and relationship has been autonomy. So
Mm,
what I realized is, everyone when they're marketing and promoting and doing their coaching and XYZ, it's like the webinars, you get time freedom, money freedom, choice freedom, all that. It's freedom. But what you just said was you gave me the distinction and connected the dots, which is people don't really want freedom because when you're free, what are you doing, where are you going? It's like a little confusing, it's a little chaotic. But what they really want is they want choice. They want freedom of choice and freedom of autonomy, meaning I get to choose what I do with my time. That's the freedom. But that's not really freedom, that is having options. Whereas someone who is in a 9 to 5 don't really have options. They can choose another 9 to 5, but they're doing what other people want them to do. So there's a level of autonomy in business if you can, hammer out the grit and the will and get it done and get the skills and learn the things, you can earn a place in this life where you become an autonomous chooser versus free. We're not free. And it's like we have to pay the bills. We have to live, so we have to eat.
Mhm.
We're not free from eating. We're not free from relationship, but we can become more conscious and sovereign and autonomous. So that was really chef's kiss for me.
Yes, and also this is because this is I'm going to share to you guys like some golden nuggets that I've learned in my college when it comes from teaching, because there was this I think the translation is something like self-determination theory. Like when are people like um truly like intrinsically motivated to do something, and there are basically three points which you need to optimize for. The first one is competence. Like you need to the things that you're doing need to fit your skill level, because if it's like way too above your pay grade or too above your skill level, you become like anxious. It's like not for you. If it's too low, it becomes like boring. So it needs to be fit to your skill level. That is the first thing. The second thing is relationships. Like you need to actually feel like you're a part of something. You need to connect with the people around you to keep look accountable and to keep you like motivated. And the third is autonomy. You need to be able to choose, to have some choice in like what you are doing. And if you like optimize for these 3 points, when I was like a PE teacher, then kids are like intrinsically motivated, but we can just apply this to anywhere because adults are basically like big kids.
Oh yeah, I learned that as a dance instructor really quick. It's like if you start playing patty cake in the dance class, people pay attention. It's so funny. It's
Yes,
so funny. That's really
yes,
good. So if I can boil that down, it is I heard autonomy.
yes,
I heard competence level, being engaged and challenged but not overwhelmed or bored. And then the third one was relationship, meaning I need to feel
yes,
like I'm a part of something bigger and I am contributing and I'm important and I'm serving a valuable function instead of, if I literally like died tomorrow, they'd have someone fill my spot in 35 seconds, right? That's a horrible feeling. Is that what I'm hearing?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. These 3 points. And yeah, like that is great. Like you can use it for anything. Like that is also why I think I have an unfair advantage, because there are so many examples, so many things that I've learned like subconsciously while just being like a teacher, while just being there, that I'm like applying without me even knowing it in what I'm doing right now. Similar as in like there was this, how do you truly make somebody remember the things that you are teaching?
Yeah.
And because most people they say something, and then the next week they have to say it again and again and again and again because they don't like remember it. And first I did this as well with the kids who I was teaching, and I was like being annoyed. I was like, man, I said this last week, like why don't you like get it now? But there is this framework, and the translation is something like um um I think it was
Is it
explanation.
Japanese?
It no no no, it was explanation, example, execution. So first you explain something verbally, okay guys, so today we're going to make a flip over this chest, and you were going to put our hands here and doing it this like this. Then an example, like we are, okay, so now this student is going to show you how to do it, so they visually they can combine the verbal, the or the hearing with the seeing, and then the third is okay. So now your guys can do it as well, you know. So with the execution, and that is exactly what helped me in the mentorship as well. Like, I love visuals. I have so many visuals that I'm teaching to my clients. So, first, when I explain something, I always show a visual about it. And then I give them action steps. And that makes them sure that they are never forgetting like anything. Um, so, that is another thing that is like very useful.
Man, I love this, and I've I've studied how do you make people change behavior as a hypnotist? Because if you can't do that, people aren't going to pay you long term. If you can't get someone results, they might be able to fall for the hat trick and the pony trick once. Here's $3,000. I'll change your life forever. And then, they're still doing the same thing. I really don't believe in that. So I think I learned a similar model with Alex Hermosi, which is show them, do it with them, do it on them and do it with them, give them an example, and then watch them and give them feedback. Like let them do it and then give feedback. And then that becomes the model and it creates a loop, a circle of feedback. I love that. And you know, what I love doing is I love teaching the unconscious mind. So can I play for like 2 or 3 minutes? Can I share
Yeah,
some
sure.
fun? Yeah, some
Go
fun
ahead.
stuff because you already do this. So the cool thing about hypnosis and the unconscious mind is that it can't tell the difference between what's real and imagined. So what I like to do is sometimes you don't have a picture. Sometimes you don't have an example. Sometimes you don't have the time or the place or the space for someone to do it on someone else, or because I train coaches how to do what I do. So if I'm on a one-on-one call, I can't like, hey, now do this on this person that doesn't exist. But the cool thing is using words and language, you can create kind of like in the Matrix. You've seen the Matrix, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you know how when Morpheus takes Neo out of the Matrix, and now he's like, okay, it's time for the training, bro. And he plugs them into the simulation, and all of a sudden, he's like, I know kung fu. How did he do that? His body didn't move. What did he do? Plugged in and installed a new program that the body can then run off of. So the cool thing with hypnosis is you can do all of those steps with words and telling a story. You can model the experience by telling a story and saying, first he did this, this, and this. And then, just imagine 6 months into the future after you've already done that. So now you've already installed the model. Like, this is what it can look like. Now you take them way into when the result is already done, future pacing with NLP, and then have them float down, drift down, fly down into their shoes of their future self. And then all of a sudden, they get to experience what life is like, having already established the skill. And then you have that version talk to this version and figure out the unconscious kinks that need to happen that'll shorten that 2 year cycle that you had. You just have your future self download the information into your current self. And now, as a hypnotist, I have access to all the limiting beliefs, all the emotional blockages, all the things that they think will come up because their unconscious mind can predict. It's that goal oriented machine. They can walk the path. And before they even start the journey, you can start to pull out the things that are going to block them. So I just really love learning the unconscious mind because when you can do that stuff, some people are blocked by fear, some people are blocked by knowledge, some people are blocked by shame, some people are blocked by self doubt. But if you just put them through the process, then what happens is they can feed back to you that information very quickly, and you can get them results 10 times faster than, all right, I'm gonna go out and make 10 calls today, and then get the feedback of where I suck and what I need to do, and then talk to my mentor. You can do all of that right there in the session. So I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that, and then we'll close up this space because I'm all about I value efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to work with someone for 6 months if it takes 2 weeks.
Right. Um, so yeah, I like that. And there is that, like, the mind is like infinitely complex. Like, there isn't just this your conscious identity, the ones who sees, the ones who hears, the ones who thinks. But next to that, there are a lot of subconscious forces, driving your behavior. And I have done a lot of work in basically identifying them as well. Like, for example, when I feel like an emotion, where I have like a feeling, go deeper into that with like journaling, because like next to your conscious identity, it's like a big boardroom table, and in the chair of the boards, you have this, you have your own conscious identity. But on the chairs there are all of these executives like driving your behavior. And all of these executives, they want what is best for you, even though you might think, oh no, this is self-sabotage, like, why am I doing that? No, self sabotage doesn't exist because you want what's best for you. But the reason that you are experiencing self sabotage is that one of these executives, they are not, they are they are not getting what they need. So they are kicking and screaming until they get what they need. So it is basically about, like, I don't know who said this, like Nietzsche said this, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life, but you will call it fate.
Oh,
Um,
destiny. Yep. Fate. Uh-huh.
yes. So it's about like, yeah, like really become like clear on unconscious forces are driving your behavior. Like, ask questions. Oh, I don't want to do this. Why do you want to do this? Like, what is holding you back? Like, what has happened in the past? And yeah, sometimes like some help, like maybe I don't know a lot about hypnosis, but I'm pretty sure that hypnosis can help with some of these things.
Yeah, brother, and you already know, like all everything that you just said are hypnotic and neurolinguistic programming tools. So you already have the tools, you just don't know what it's called. That's hypnosis. So yeah, the boardroom is an ancient technique, ancient, way before hypnosis was a word. So I'm very happy, and that's probably why you've moved so quick and moved so fast, is because you have processes that work. So if anyone wants to tune in to some processes that work, please check out Tibor. His community is called, one more time, Focus Creatives. What is it?
Focused creators. Yes.
Yeah, Focus Creators, where he helps educational creators get the first paying clients and scale. So if that's something you're into, you can check out the show notes. We'll put a link to his community. And also, if it's okay with you, what I'm finding really works on Skool is just having a 30-minute chat with someone. They might turn into a client, might turn into a friend, might turn into an ally where you co-create something together. So is it okay if I put a 30-minute have coffee with Tibor networking call in there too?
I have calls on, or like, what, wait, what do you mean? Do you mean in
Just
my
if people
community?
listen to the if they listen to the podcast, they can check out your school. And if they're really like, yeah, I really want to talk to Tibor or maybe work with them, they can just go right ahead and book a 30-minute chat with you to have a conversation.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So book a chat with Tibor, and if you join this community, find Krista, the relationship chef. Uh, they're working together. So that being said, thank you for coming into the space. Let's all just take a deep breath to close it out and out. Thank you for joining the Get Schooled podcast. And if you want to be a guest, just send me a message and we'll touch base.